guys, JH6 and welcome back to the channel. So we're going to talk about military orders and overseas duties. Now a lot of you guys ask questions and a lot of you guys are looking for information. So here's the information based on my experience. I'm not a recruiter, so I'm going to tell you how it is. And I'm going to tell you some of the things that I like, some of the things that I didn't like. Now, I got my phone. I'm going to be looking at my notes. I got to tell you guys, first of all, you're going to go through the process. Everybody knows that. You're going to go into boot camp. You're going to go into School of Infantry or Marine Corps combat training. Then you're going to go to your MOS, your occupation. From there, you're going to be finished. Now, from there, you're going to get orders. These orders are given to you by the Marine Corps in writing, meaning that you get orders. And I highly suggest that you save those orders, because at a later time we may talk about awards and things like that, and orders is a way to prove that you were there at that location. Now, you get orders and you have to execute your orders, meaning that you're going to go into the place that they assign you to. Now, orders are given every couple of years. So for the Marines that have been hanging around in the Marine Corps for a while, you're going to execute orders multiple times. And this video is not for them, because they know what they're doing, they know how to do it, and they don't need this type of information. So, but for the new guys, you're going to get orders, and normally, if you are a new guy in the Marine Corps, your first 4 years, you're probably going to be in the same place. You're not going to go to too many places. You may execute orders one more time, meaning that you go into a place and then you may go into a different place. But typically, you're going to be in the same location for 4 years, because keep in mind, guys, every time you get orders, the Marine Corps actually had to pay for you to move your family. So it actually costs a lot of money to the Marine Corps. So orders typically are going to be given one time in your career. Now, if you get overseas duty, you most likely are going to get orders twice. You're going to go and do your tour overseas, and then you're going to come back home and do another tour here in some place in the United States. But again, talking about orders is one of those things, like I say, that you're going to be given by the Marine Corps, and you pretty much cannot refuse your orders. Now, once you get orders, you will execute your orders, and you will go into wherever they tell you to. I got to tell you guys, I went to places that I didn't want to go. But once you get those orders, you will execute them. Again, as you go up in the ranks, there are some other things that may come to play to it, that you may not, that may get you out of those orders. For example, if you're a sergeant coming up to 8 years in the Marine Corps, you have to re-enlist, and you get orders to a place that you don't want to go, you just don't re-enlist and you get out of the Marine Corps. So things like that could play it out. But for the new guys like you looking to get information, you most likely going to execute your orders wherever they're sending you to, unless there is a special circumstances, like let's say one of your kids have some type of medical issue and you get sent to Japan, and Japan doesn't have the capabilities to take care of your family because some type of disability or something like that. Then you're probably going to have your orders modified and you will go to a different place. But most likely, 99.9% of the time, guys, you will execute orders. You just don't have a choice. Alright, guys, so just a quick story. I came from Afghanistan after 12 months in Afghanistan, and I got giving orders to Japan. Now, I pretty much spent 12 months in a combat zone without even seeing, my family, my children, my mom, and things like that. And after, I want to say, about 6 months later, I found myself in Japan for a year and a half. So again, the fact that I didn't see my children, didn't see my family, it was just something that you're just going to have to deal with. Again, guys, one of the things that you got to understand, that the Marine Corps comes first to the Marine Corps. Not saying to you, to the Marine Corps. Their mission accomplished is what they do. So I got to tell you guys, if you come from Afghanistan like I did, 12 months, a whole year without seeing my children, and then I get orders to Japan 6 months later for a year and a half without, again, and I can't see my children, the Marine Corps doesn't care. The Marine Corps cares about mission accomplished, and they will accomplish the mission. So a lot of you guys are under the belief that, hey, if I get orders to this location and I don't like it, I could just change it. That's not the case in the Marine Corps. I can't speak about other services, but in the Marine Corps, mission come first, and they will do what's best for the Marine Corps. Definitely not saying they don't take care of Marines. They do take care of Marines, and there's situations where they're going to take care of you. But mainly they're going to do what they got to do to benefit the Marine Corps. That's just what they do. Alright guys, so real quick, let's talk about some of the good things about being overseas. Now, you're a new guy, you finished your occupation school, and you got orders to Japan. I'm going to talk about Okinawa because that's where I went. I went to Okinawa. Now, there's a couple of good things about being there. There's definitely horrible things about being there as well. Let me tell you a couple of the good things. First of all, you get to experience the culture. It is unbelievable to experience a different cultures. Now, I being in many countries like Dubai, Turkey, Spain, Iraq, Afghanistan, Okinawa, and places like that. But being able to live in a different country is very nice. You get to experience a different culture. You get to see different things. So you become more experienced as a Marine because you've seen many things as a person. I mean, being able to experience a different culture is very cool. Now, there's some bad things to that as well. I'm going to talk about that. But again, another thing is going to be that you're going to be able to save money. Now, you're a brand new guy into the Marine Corps. You barely make any money because you're a private first class. And the fact that you're going to be overseas, they're going to pay you more money. They're going to pay you special payments like COLA and things like that. I'm not going to get into that. But you're going to get paid a little bit more money. And there's going to be a lot of restriction. The fact that you have a lot of restrictions, it means that you're going to be able to save money because in a lot of occasions you won't be able to do much. The fact that you're in a different country, they may lock you down, and I'm going to talk about restrictions in a minute. But again, if you can go out to spend money, you're going to save your money. So you are going to get paid more money. You're going to have the chances to get paid to get saved more money. There's a lot of different programs that they got in overseas countries where you could buy a car and you could pay for the car for 2 years. And when you come back to the United States, the car is almost paid, so you could pick up your brand new car. So there's a lot of things that you could do up there, but essentially you're going to make more money. You're going to be able to save more money. You're going to experience the culture. And one of the things that is going to help you out when you go up in ranks, and a lot of the new guys won't think about this, is promotion. Now, it's not going to help you from private to lance corporal to corporal, but when you go into sergeant to staff sergeant, the rank that I retired from, being able to have overseas tours or look pretty look better. It looks really good on you when you go to the staff sergeant rank because you actually got to go into a board and about 30 guys will look at your service records and would decide if you're eligible for promotion or not. I mean, the whole is a bunch of whole things regarding to that, but being overseas, having an overseas tour is definitely going to help you. It's definitely going to help you out on that. Now, let's talk about some of the bad things, guys. Restrictions. And restrictions, I wouldn't say totally it's the Marine Corps fault. I would say it's the Marines' fault because Marines get in trouble all the time. A lot of times, like Japan, Okinawa, there's a lot of other services like the Army, Navy, Air Force in there as well. One of those guys may get in trouble and we may all pay because of that. There's some crime that may happen, and because a Marine commits a crime, everyone is going to pay for that. So there's a lot of restrictions, and I got to tell you guys, one of the biggest restrictions that I saw when I was there was the driver's license. You can't show up to Japan and get a driver's license unless you're married, and if you were married, you automatically got one. I mean, you had to go through the Japanese process, but unless you were a staff NCO. Now, staff NCO is an E6 and above, a staff sergeant and above. If you're a staff NCO, you actually rate the driver's license. So when I made it to Japan, I was a sergeant, and I was already selected to get promoted to staff sergeant, meaning that a month later, I got promoted to staff sergeant. When I show up there, I was told I couldn't get a license, and I had to wait a month to actually get a license and actually buy a car. Now, guys, that could be a little bit frustrating because when I made it there, I was 29 years old. So I'm a 29-year-old with a driver's license from the United States, with a motorcycle driver's license. I mean, to a driver's license to drive an MRAP, to drive in a Humvee, to drive every vehicle in the Marine Corps, pretty much. Not every vehicle, but a lot of the vehicles. And I show up to Japan as a sergeant, that being in the Marine Corps, almost 9 years, and you tell me I can't have a driver's license? So I have to walk every place that I want to go? So it was a little bit frustrating. A month later, I picked up Staff Sergeant. I was able to have a driver's license. But I know a lot of my fellow Marines, it was frustrating for them because they couldn't get a driver's license. Alright guys, so all the restrictions were curfews and things like that. Now again, I didn't have a curfew based on my rank, but a lot of the young kids will have a curfew. So if you're a brand new kid going into Japan, you are going to have a curfew. And I got to tell you guys, this is not like secret information. Japan, the whole country of Okinawa knows this. The military is so heavily present there that the whole military pretty much support that country economically. So you see a lot of the places that will close after midnight, and you see a lot of the places that would target Okinawan people after midnight. Before midnight, it's all about the Americans. Once 12 o'clock comes out, midnight, they know they're going to go away. And then the whole Okinawan people will start going into those places. So it's no secret information. Again, it's something that everybody knows. Now, one of the things that I hated the most is the fact that it costs so much money to travel back home that it's going to stop you from visiting your family. Now, there's something called AMC flies or something. I forgot the acronym for it. But it's a flight that you could take for free to a military base and actually go and visit your family from there. A lot of people would tell you, well, you could take an AMC fly. I got to tell you guys that those flights are not reliable and a lot of times don't work. Based on the meaning that you're going to be put in a waiting period, and a lot of times in the Marine Corps, well, actually every single time, you will request from one day to another day. If you show up late, if you don't make it, you will be in so much trouble. You could lose rank. You could lose a lot of things. So you can depend on a flight that may happen. So you're going to have to buy a flight. And if I recall correctly, I can't remember, but it was about $2,000. So again, every time I flew back from the United States, from Japan to the United States to visit my family, I pay over $2,000 for a plane ticket. So for a person like me, I was making pretty good money. But for a brand new guy that being in the Marine Corps a year, you just won't be able to afford that. You don't get paid enough to be able to pay $2,000 to a plane ticket. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. If you go overseas, the chances of you seeing your family is going to be once a year. Maybe on Christmas, you take some leave, you come and see the family, you come back. Typically the tours are about 2 years. So if you're a brand new kid that finished boot camp and you get orders to Okinawa, you most likely going to be there for 2 years. Then you're going to come back home and go to a different duty station. A lot of guys spend 2 years there and never come home because, like I said, they just can't afford it. Alright guys, so that's my spill military orders and overseas tours. I got to tell you guys, unless it's something really bad going on, you will execute your orders and you won't have a chance to walk away from your orders. And again, there's some good things about being overseas and there's some bad things. Typically guys that go overseas, they spend a lot of time at the gym, you know, working out and doing training, and time will go pretty fast. But there's some other sacrifices that you're gonna have to make as well. Again guys, it's the military. You won't have too many choices. So with that being said, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you got any questions, let me know. If you got anything Marine Corps related that you want me to cover in the channel, again, let me know. I appreciate you guys watching. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and God is in control.